Hello and welcome back to the channel. On today's video, we're going to cover 4 of the most popular releases that at least I hear of, other than Stan, on the market. I bought all 4 of these. I've been testing them for quite a while now, and I'm going to break it down for you guys and kind of give you my release comparison between these 4. What we have here is the Knock to It, the Silverback, and on the hinge side we got the Too Smooth and the HBC Flex. We'll kind of start with probably what most people will use, which will be the Knock to It. Personally, I think this is one of the best thumb releases on the market. It's just simple to use, simple to operate. It fits pretty much everybody's hand. My wife shoots this size. They do offer a mini. I can shoot this. People with big hands can shoot it. It fits a wide variety of archers. It's really easy to use, and for the most part, they're fairly easy to find. Whether you find them used or you buy them new, they're really easy to get a hold of, and they just fit really well in your hand. It's a great release to start learning on. A lot of people kind of struggle in the beginning with the whole 2-finger versus having a 3rd finger here, like the wise choice. But for me, I never really had a big problem with the 2-finger. I actually kind of prefer a 2-finger, but it's a great thumb release, really easy to learn on. I have no big gripes about it, other than the fact that for thumb buttons in general, for me, I can shoot them really well for a month or 2, and then I kind of start to get a little on the punchy side, and so I just tend to kind of stay away from thumb buttons. But if I am going to use a thumb, this is the one I'm going to use. Silverback. This is the Plus model. I found it to be the closest comparison size-wise to the Knock to It as far as feel in the finger beds. That's why I got the Plus. It's a great release. John Dudley definitely recommends that a lot of new archers use this. I'm not a new archer. I do have some bad habits, not a ton. But one thing for me, shooting this all the time, is it will definitely teach you about your back wall tension, how much preload you have. When I was first getting used to using this and learning this, some shots I'd get back to full draw and I'd let off the safety and I'd start pulling, and I felt like I was pulling forever before it would fire. In some shots I would let off and it would fire immediately. And so it was just learning how much preload and back wall tension I have when shooting shot to shot. This is a great tool to kind of help you realize that about yourself. So for me, I don't think I would ever use this in any other situation other than a training tool. For me personally, I know there's a handful of people that like to hunt with these. I know there's a handful of people that like to shoot resistance style releases for everything. It's just not for me. I like to use it as a training tool. I think it is a phenomenal training tool, but for me, it is just not something that I feel confident and consistent shooting all the time. However, using it for training purposes, I definitely have the confidence, and I can still put really good groups downrange up to 70 and 80 with this. It's just, I don't know, there's just something about it that it doesn't click for me as far as being able to even possibly hunt with this. It's just not in the cards for me. But a great release nonetheless. Now the hinges. I am primarily a hinge shooter. The Too Smooth was my first hinge ever. I have since shot a lot of different hinges. and I still always have one or two smooths laying around. I think it is the best hinge for somebody to learn shooting a hinge on. I've had the Ultra View hinge, I've had the 2 Smooth, I've had HBCs, I've had stands, I've had all kinds of them, and I definitely think this is the easiest one to learn on because it does have 2 moons. It has a click moon and a fire moon, so does Ultra View, but the neck is so short, and I prefer a short neck because I already have a short draw length, so I don't want to give up any draw length with a long neck. But if you do buy John Dudley's collection, all of these have the same anchor on them. You can shoot all of them interchangeably and really learn every single kind of release discipline. And I was already shooting the knock to it, so the 2 Smooth was the easy choice when I wanted to move to a hinge. However, I do have a couple gripes with the 2 Smooth that will always be there for me. And the one is that it's really slick. It's really, really slick, and it does feel smaller than the knock to it in your hand. So I ended up adding some grip tape to mine, and for me, compared to the HBC, the 2 Smooth does not break as smooth and as clean as the HBC, in my opinion. But it is still a phenomenal release. I really, really like this release, and it is one of my favorites. It's a little on the light side. After shooting the HBC and the brass, I definitely prefer a little heavier release. However, for the price point, you can usually pick these up pretty cheap on any used pages, and they're really easy to adjust. They're really great for a beginner with the 2 moons, and really being able to dial it in exactly how you want it. This is a phenomenal release. Now, the HBC, this is also a phenomenal release. It's a little on the heavier side and a little on the pricey side, and it only has 1 moon, so your click and fire rate is the exact same no matter what. One thing with this is I tend to shoot all hinges with very little ring finger pressure. But for me, I find this release really, really easy to activate by just like loosening my grip and just, slowly relaxing my hand and letting it fire. Because it is a little bulkier in this first finger pad, I can feel that release moving and moving and moving and then fire. With the 2 Smooth, the finger beds are the exact same size all the way across the board. And when you're pulling on this and you're letting out, it's kind of harder to feel it moving through your hand and feel like you're moving through your shot cycle. You can still feel it, it's just not near as pronounced as you feel on the HBC. Both of these hinges shoot identical for me as far as accuracy, as far as what I'm seeing. But the click on this is significantly louder than the 2 Smooth. However, my click to fire rate is pretty quick. I do hunt with the click and I've never had an issue. But I do think both of these are going to stay in my bino harness, but the HBC is primarily going to be my hunting release for this year. I just love how it feels in my hand. It feels solid. I really can feel myself pulling through the back wall. I can feel every little motion in this release. Some of those fine-tuned motions that might give you left and right impacts are harder to feel on the 2 Smooth because of its lightweight characteristics. But with that being said, all 4 of these releases are an awesome choice if you guys are looking into getting a new release. The only one that I definitely would not recommend personally for hunting would be the silverback, but it is a great tool to have in your belt when you want to practice and learn a little bit more about your shot process. This is a great tool. One other thing I'd like to mention is all 4 of these releases have the exact same neck length, so they all will anchor the exact same on your bow. You will not have to worry about changing draw length or readjusting anything. You'll just have to set them up to however hot or cold you want them, and they will all anchor the exact same, which is the reason why I picked these 4 in particular instead of having a stand in this test, because the stands in the Ultra Views have longer necks, so I would have had to change my anchor. So that is why I picked these 4 releases. With that being said, that is the end of this video. I hope you guys got a little bit of knowledge out of this. If you guys want me to go more in depth with any of these releases and how I recommend shooting them or setting them up, I'd be more than happy to go over that in a separate video. This video is just a comparison between these, but so far, if I had to rank them 1 to 4, HBC would be number 1, Too Smooth would be number 2, Knock To It would be number 3, and the Silverback would be number 4. I'll see you guys on the next video. Have a great day.